Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is Thursday, 15th September 2016. Narayanam namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatya Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Today we are going to discuss chapter number 8 of the third canto. We have taken one shloka number 27. Can we have the mics, taken care? Some sound is coming from somebody. Yes. Thank you. Mukhena lokarti harasmitena Parispurat kundala manditena Shonayitena dharabimba bhasa Pratya arhayantam sunasena subhrava Mukhena lokarti harasmitena Parispurat kundala manditena Shonayitena dharabimba bhasa Pratya arhayantam sunasena subhrava Udip Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Mukhena lokarti harasmitena Parispurat kundala manditena Sonayitena dharabimba bhasa Pratya arhayantam sunasena subhrava
Mukhena, by a gesture of the face. Lok artihara, vanquisher of the distress of the devotees. Smitena, by smiling. Parispurat, dazzling.
dazzling,
kundala,
kundala,
earrings,
earring,
manditena,
manditena,
decorated with
decorated with
shona vitena,
sona vitena,
acknowledging
acknowledging
adara
adara,
adhara
of his lips,
of his lips,
bimba,
bimba,
reflection,
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 bhasa,
bhasa,
rays,
rays,
pratya arhayantam,
pratyaya arahantam,
reciprocating,
reciprocating,
sunasena,
suna sena,
by his pleasing nose,
by his pleasing nose,
subhrava,
subhrava,
pleasing eyebrows.
and pleasing eyebrows.
He also acknowledged the service of the devotees and vanquished their distress by his beautiful smile. The reflection of his face, decorated with earrings, was so pleasing because it dazzled with the rays from his lips and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows. He also acknowledged
He
He
also
also acknowledged
the service of the devotees
the service of the devotees
and vanquished their distress
and vanquished their distress
by his beautiful smile.
by his beautiful smile.
The reflection of his face,
The reflection of his face,
decorated with earrings,
decorated with earrings,
was so pleasing
was so pleasing
because it dazzled
because it dazzled
the rays from his lips
with the rays from his lips
and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows.
and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows.
So this is actually one of the shlokas where Brahmaji is seeing Lord Krishna, and the description, what Brahmaji saw and is describing. So this is all bodily features of the Lord. Very, very interesting. Like the way they describe, we can't. Sometimes, you stand in front. I tell everybody that you should take darshan like this. You should stand and then start from the toes of the Lord and then slowly go up his legs and thighs and like that. Then ultimately reach the face and the head. And then you are supposed to say something to glorify the Lord. And invariably, we all fail, because we don't have words to even express our appreciation. We just fail. And here we see, so we should actually memorize some of these shlokas and just recite when we have darshan of the Lord. It's so nice. So anyway, we'll just go to the chapter proper. That's the 8th chapter I told you. And the title is Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So we know that Maitreya Rishi is talking to Vidura and explaining him. Vidura asked so many questions about the creation, about Brahmaji and about everything else. Last 2 days we have been discussing that. So Maitreya Rishi continues, and it reminds him about his ancestors, the Kurus, the Kauravas, the Kurus to which Vidura belongs, comes from Puru, King Puru, very, very famous personality in our ancestry. And then he says that you are so fortunate because this whole family of Puru, they have been all devotees of the Lord. And you are also one of them. And then he says, because you wanted to know these wonderful pastimes of the Lord, I am remembering more and more, more wonderful things about the Lord. Thank you very much for reminding me, like the narrator also enjoys, not that, narrator just tells and everybody else enjoys, and no. The narrator of this Katha, Krishna Katha, Hari Katha, in fact, sometimes he enjoys more than others. So now he starts talking about Bhagavatam again, This is one more angle of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he says this was spoken by Sankarshana to the sages. Sankarshana is the expansion of Krishna, Baladeva, Balaram. So he says, some time ago, Sanata Kumara, one of the 4 Kumaras, he was the chief among the 4 Kumaras, Sanata Kumara. So he, along with other sages, like you are asking, they also ask the Lord. You're asking me, but they ask the Lord, Supreme Lord, Sankarsana. And Sankarsana is supposed to be seated in the bottom of the universe and on his Shesha Naga, like Shesha hood. The whole universe is resting. So Sankarsana was just meditating upon Krishna. Then there, all these sages, the Toli, the whole party goes there. And then he opened his eyes and he looked at them and he started to speak. What is speaking? Bhagavatam. And at that time it says the sages came from all the different planets, not necessarily from Earth, from the lower planets and the upper planets, and everywhere they came. And they all came through Ganga. Ganga is coming from the higher planets. So they're all coming through Ganga. And then, it says that since they're coming through Ganga, their hair were wet. Their head was wet. And then they came and they touched the feet of the Lord, Sankarsana. And then he's being worshipped by everybody, including the Naga Patnis and so on. And there, Sanata Kumara, along with the 3 other Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, who are perfect in knowledge, in transcendental knowledge, like scriptural knowledge. And they are expert in singing in the rhythm, in the raga, the glories of the Lord. That's how the Samaveda comes. And then they saw this effulgent Sankarshana with 1,000 hoods. And every hood has a big, huge jewel. And because of that, when the light falls on that, the whole thing is so radiant. So Lord Sankarsana spoke the purport of Bhagavatam to them. And then he told, Sanata Kumara learned from him. And then he told Sankhyayana Muni. He told it to Sankhyayana Muni. Then Sankhyayana, he was at that time the chief transcendentalist. And then he started talking about Srimad Bhagavatam. And that time he says, my spiritual master, that is spiritual master of Maitreya Muni, Parashara Muni, and Brahaspati, they both heard from Sankhyayana Muni. See, this is every time there are different branches going, but the disciplic succession remains as it is. So then Parashara, he was advised by Pulasya to spread it further. So he spoke to me, Bhagavatam. So now we see Maitreya Rishi heard all this from Parashara Muni, who heard it from Sankhyayana Muni, who heard it from Sankarsana. Sanat Kumara, who heard it from Shankarshan, like this. So now he says, I am telling you about this, as I heard from this great personality. So when Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he's entered into each planet, right? He says that I will enter into each planet. And then he's lying on the Ananta Shesha in the Sagara, Karana Sagara. And that's the time of, the breath taking in. So everything is dormant. He's just lying on that. And then he's sort of in the Yoga Nidra, half closed eyes. And then he says, Lord remained in that for that whole period, in that period of dissolution, he was there. And everybody is there in his body. Now this whole thing is being described here, that how Brahmaji was born. We know, the lotus came out of the navel of Lord Vishnu, etc. So now here it's all detailed given. So he was laying down for 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas, that's how Brahma's one day is, right? So this is night now. Brahma's night is again same, 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas. 1,000 Mahayugas, as we say. And then he was as if, he's sleeping in the water, within the water. And then the first of living being is Brahmaji, right? So Brahmaji, the Lord is sleeping there, and then his glance agitates that Mahatattva, as we know. And then everything starts happening. Some agitation in the water, because the water was like completely still. But then by that some agitation took place, and then the subtle form of creation started taking place in his abdomen. And then what happened? From there came this bud of a lotus flower generated from Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And it started, when it came out, it started illuminating everything. Before that everything was dark, and because of that, because of the illumination, it started drying up, because everything goes underwater, right? So now it started drying up because of the radiance of this lotus. So then in this lotus flower, that is a form of a universe, the Lord personally entered as super soul, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. As I told, remember, Kshirodakshay Vishnu enters with each soul. So he is like super soul there. And then is impregnated, the lotus flower is impregnated with all the modes of material nature. The personality of Vedic wisdom. Whose personality of Vedic wisdom? Brahma. And Brahma is self-born, that's why it is called Aja. He is also called Aja. So when Brahma was born on that lotus flower, coming out of the abdomen, stem, there's stem, and then on that there's a flower. He could not see anything. He could not see anything, just see. So he started turning around, trying to see what's going on. So he started doing parikramas, circumambulation. And then, he wanted to see in all directions with his moving eyes. So then, because of his trying to see in four directions, especially, he got 4 heads. This is how Bhagavatam explains how he got 4 heads. So still Brahmaji is not able to find out what's going on. He's not understanding anything. What is this lotus and what is it there? There's nothing. And then the air of devastation, during the dissolution, it's air of devastation, it started to move the water. And the lotus also started moving in circular waves, like along with that. So Brahmaji is still, is totally ignorant. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know who am I, what I'm doing here, from where this stem has sprouted. There must be something, some intelligence. He's an intelligent person, of course. So this Jiva says, there must be something downwards. And then he says, this lotus is coming up, so it must be within some water. So through the channel of the stem, Brahmaji came down. He entered the stem, and then he came to the navel of Vishnu. But still he couldn't figure out what's there. He couldn't figure out the source. So this way, when he was searching, he's still searching. So then Brahmaji reached the hand of the Lord Vishnu where Sudarshan Chakra is there. And then, Sudarshan Chakra is like ferocious form. So he saw that. But he still couldn't find out, he couldn't still figure out what's going on. So he came back from there. Again, he came to the top of the lotus. And then that's the time when he heard these 2 words, ta and pa, tapa, perform austerity. So then he started doing tapasa. And we know that he did it for 100 years, right? Brahma's 100 years. When his meditation was complete, he developed the required knowledge. 100 celestial years, not Brahma's years. And then, in his heart, he saw the Lord. See, this is how Brahmaji gets his first darshan of the Lord. He could not see him still face to face. He saw him in the heart. And then, the whole description is there now of what he saw, what Brahma saw. He saw this lotus-like white bedstead, which is nothing but the body of Sheshanaga, on which the Lord was sleeping, lying actually. And the whole atmosphere illuminated. I will just read this, because it's so interesting, so nice to hear. Whole atmosphere was illuminated by the rays of jewels bedecking the hood of Sheshanaga. And that illumination dissipated all the darkness of those regions. The luster of the transcendental body of the Lord mocked the beauty of the coral mountain. The coral mountain is very beautifully dressed by the evening sky, but the yellow dress of the Lord mocked its beauty. Just defeated the beauty of the coral mountain. There is gold on the summit of the mountain, but the Lord's helmet, bedecked with jewels, mocked it. The mountains, waterfalls, herbs, etc., with a panorama of flowers, seem like garlands, but the Lord's gigantic body and his hands and legs decorated with jewels, pearls, tulasi, and flower garlands mocked the scene on the mountain. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the 3 planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness and was properly ornamented. The Lord showed his lotus feet How? By raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service, free from material contamination. Such awards are for those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the transcendental rays from his moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared with the petals of a flower. He also acknowledged the service of the devotees and vanquished their distress by his beautiful smile. That's what we read today. The reflection of his face decorated with earrings was so pleasing because it dazzled with the rays from his lips and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows. Oh, my dear Vidura, the Lord's waist was covered with yellow cloth resembling the saffron dust of the kadamba flower, and it was encircled by a well-decorated belt. His chest was decorated with the Srivatsa marking and a necklace of unlimited value. Unlimited value. As a sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flowers and branches, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. He was the self-situated tree, the Lord of all others in the universe. And as a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, so the Lord's body was also covered by the hoods of Ananta. Like a great mountain, the Lord stands as the abode from all moving and non-moving living entities. He is the friend of the snakes because Lord Ananta is his friend. As a mountain has thousands of golden peaks, so the Lord was seen with the thousands of golden helmeted hoods of Anantanaga. And as a mountain is sometimes filled with jewels, so also his transcendental body was fully decorated with valuable jewels. The mountain is sometimes submerged in an ocean of water, so the Lord is sometimes submerged in the water of devastation. So this way Lord Brahma saw a darshan of the Lord. Most fortunate person, although not as fortunate as some of the devotees who had a direct, like the Gopas and the Gopis. They had a much better view than Lord Brahma. But Lord Brahma is so happy seeing this, because even we see, even 0.000000001% of this, we can become mad in ecstasy. So then he started singing the glories of the Lord, Brahma Samhita, Then he was protected by Sudarshan Chakra. And then, so like that, the Brahmaji had this first darshan. When he saw that, he also glanced over the creation. He saw there's a lake in the Lord's navel, and in the lotus flower is coming from there. He saw the drying of the sky, and everything became visible to him. Thus, he got surcharged, with what? Mode of passion. Creation needs mode of passion. And then he thought, okay, now the time has come to create. So that is his order. So before creation, again, we don't do that generally, but it's a nice thing to do is, before doing anything, just have prayers. Before leaving your home, just chant Narasimha prayers. At every step, you should be chanting something, some prayer, some glorification of the Lord. Okay, so this way we end this chapter. Wonderful description, right? So if you have any question now, any comments, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a question. Prabhuji, so universes come out from Mahavishnu or Garbhodakshay Vishnu? Like today we started.
This is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, is the one who enters into each universe, Now now the other creations have to take place. So he is now using Brahma. So first Brahma has to come, right? Brahma comes from Garbhodaksha Vishnu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the universes has come. Now Garbhodaksha Vishnu is entering each universe. And then Kshirodaksha Vishnu is entering each soul,
Okay.
each body rather, or body along with the soul. That's how the creation takes place. So everybody, all these three Purusha avatars, they have their own roles, to play.
Okay.
But they're all coming from Sankarshan. All three. And Sankarsana is expansion of Krishna.
Okay. Okay.
Any other comment, question? Okay then. Thank you very much. So hopefully we'll see you on Monday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.